Hello and welcome! Unlucky for some, it's Friday the 13th again. Which means some people are about to get killed! It's Jason time! So say hello to the murderous mama's boy with a hockey mask. It's Jason Takes Manhattan! Ugh, that's the worst key ma I've ever heard!
Surely you can do better.
So we begin with some lovely shots of New York City. Oh my word! That person is being mugged! Call for help! Won't somebody help them? Oh shit, sorry, wrong movie. Hey, it's not my fault. Blame them for putting the bat symbol in this. We also get an intriguing voiceover during these opening shots of New York.
It's like this. We live in claustrophobia, a land of steel and concrete, trapped by dark waters. There is no escape, nor do we want it. We've come to thrive on it, and each other. You can't get the adrenaline pumping without the terror, good people. I love this town.
Well, that's something. After these shots of the city that never sleeps, we jump back to Crystal Lake. Yeah, get ready to not see New York City until an hour into this movie, leaving only 31 minutes of movie left to actually be set in New York City. You would think that a movie titled Jason Takes Manhattan would have more Manhattan in it. Okay, so what do we get for the bulk of the runtime? Jason's Nautical Adventures! It'll be a great time. But before we get to that, we must pick things up where the last movie left off. The New Blood ended with Tina here, who had telekinetic powers, raising an image of her dead father to grab Jason and chain him up under the lake. It was a weird film. Much like every Friday movie that came before it, we open up with two characters okay after they finish. The guy spouts the exposition that's basically baked into the DNA of the franchise at this point, where he tells the story of Jason Voorhees, who he is and why he kills, so that newcomers to the Friday the 13th series are brought up to speed. And I don't really mind because it doesn't take too long and it's basically part of the experience at this point. And at least this one is less lazy than some of the previous sequels, as it doesn't actually show clips from the previous movies. So yeah, they're doing naked stuff on a boat, quite conveniently right above Jason's resting place. They drop anchor and it hits a power line, which electrifies Jason, waking him up and breaking his chains. Not to be an anchor aficionado or anything, but they weren't moving, so I don't know why the anchor moved to the power line by itself. Maybe Jason borrowed Tina's telekinesis. Either way, Jason is back and climbs aboard. This shot looks like Harry from Home Alone is climbing aboard after being covered in goop.
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
They hear a noise and the guy goes to check it out. We get a fake out jump scare with this guy wearing Jason's mask. Well, I say it's Jason's mask. It does look a lot like it. And it even has the damage from when Jason got hit by that axe several movies back. Yet in the last movie, his mask was clearly destroyed. We even see it in pieces on the ground at the end. I don't know, maybe someone's really good with super glue. Okay, fine, let's put logic aside or maybe throw it out of the window and bury it in the garden. And I will just accept the fact that this is a brand new mask with the exact same axe damage that this guy just so happened to bring with him when he docked above Jason's watery grave. Coincidence? Maybe.
And as detective, we're not allowed to believe in coincidence.
They start kissing again, and I Know What You Did Last Summer walks in and attacks.
Jason!
You know, for a brief moment, until he turns around and sees the masked psycho killer that's about to kill him, he is gonna feel very betrayed. Ooh, guess it's been a while for you, Jason. Usually don't miss unless it's a main character. Jason then proceeds to kill them both to death, whilst they act so overly dramatic. calm down. You're only being murdered. Goddamn attention seekers. Say hello to main character Rennie, played by Jensen Daggett, who is getting ready for her trip to New York and is given a gift.
Stephen King supposedly used it in high school.
I bet she stabs Jason with it. Ah, knew it. Okay, so this is a school trip and they board the ship ready to set sail for New York City. But Jason wants to come too. I love the way he looks around like it's some sort of top secret infiltration mission. The captain of the ship is preparing for departure and hands his duties over to his son Sean, played by Scott Reeves. The entire scene plays out more or less like this. Here, son, do the honours. But I haven't properly studied the correct maritime procedures. Do it anyway. You are putting me on the spot. Make your father proud, son. Oh, I hate being the son of a captain. Truly thrilling stuff. Remember Crazy Ralph from the old Friday the 13th movies? You know, the guy who ran around wearing a hat telling everyone that they were doomed. Well, we've got a new one.
This voyage is doomed.
What's with the voice? Does he work for Dracula or something? Off they go, aboard the ship named Lazarus. Nice name, considering most of you are about to die. The irony was not lost on me. Most of the students party, while Professor, Principal, whatever he is, Mr. Member of Faculty, who also happens to be the uncle of Rennie, generally just judges people. He's a bit of a dick, to be honest. He is played by Peter Mark Richman, and his character is the generally disapproving older guy that is almost certainly going to die. Told you. You know how in the Friday the 13th game, Jason was able to teleport around the map? Well, this is the film they got that from. And this is the first teleportation scene. The first of many. This character is looking for some nice acoustics, but sees Jason and runs. But he just appears on the other side of her and kills her. I like that he killed her with a musical instrument. Maybe he just wanted to jam. One down and they've not even left Crystal Lake yet. You know, one thing I could question is how a cruise ship could even dock at Crystal Lake and how it could get to Manhattan from there. But, yeah, it's a slasher movie. I will file that under the same logistical travel conveniences as Crystal Lake and Springwood apparently being a short drive from one another. Who cares about that stuff? We have music, we have dance, and obnoxious old men and death. What more could you ask for? How about Rennie seeing visions of a child begging his mother for help while drowning outside a porthole window? Well, that got dark. She then sees the child again when a fellow student decides she is a horrible piece of aging moose manure and bumps into Rennie, sending her falling overboard. You see, this person was caught doing drugs by Mr. Faculty Man and decided to take it out on his niece, who is afraid of the water, by knocking her overboard. Not sure why she keeps seeing child Jason, though. At least I think it is. Doesn't even look like him. Then she sees him again, in a flashy light show, which I've got to admit does look good. So, well done to the VFX team. I don't know what this whole child Jason thing is supposed to be about, though. But I guess the mystery will be revealed with the passage of time. Ooh, that sounds cool. Should get that on a t-shirt. The voyage continues, and Jason senses one of his favourite things. A naked woman showering, and decides to do another spot of murder. Showering and shagging. He really does seem to have a thing for that. But not in the same way most people do. Then again, Norman Bates. But oh no! Jason, you're too late! She's already put on a robe! Now what are we going to do without the gratuitous nudity? Create more, apparently. This is just too funny. The movie is adamant you will be naked. Yes, by all means, just sit there screaming, "No, no, don't kill me." Don't use the ample time you had while he went to grab a shard of glass to run away or anything. Things really start to heat up when Jason kills the captain and the first mate, which is when everyone comes to the shocking realisation that there'll be a murderer aboard. I think it's the cook in the galley with the soldering iron. They have those in galleys, right? Also, this has to be the worst throat slit I've ever seen. It looks like they used a red felt tip pen on the edge of the blade of the prop machete. And of course, a storm breaks out. How very classic Friday the 13th of you. You know, I have to say that even though I would have expected a film called Jason Takes Manhattan to have more, Manhattan in it, it is still a lot of fun watching Jason kill people on a ship. Especially with the teleportation. And now it's time for more of it! Jason is on the deck. The guy climbs up the ladder, and instantly he is right there on him. That's just pure teleportation right there. And don't you dare say that he is just climbing the ladder very, very quickly. That's just crazy! Be realistic! Teleportation is clearly the only logical answer. Especially in this bit, at the disco. She runs in and Jason storms through the door after her. And she keeps looking around, and he is everywhere! You, sir, are a true magician. Yes, it's silly, goofy, and makes no sense. But it is undeniably pure cheesy fun, though I suspect she isn't enjoying it all that much. Bloody hell, Jason! That was better than a mic drop. Naturally, upon finding out a madman is loose on the ship, the just-in-it-to-up-the-body count students form a hunting party to kill Jason before he can kill them. And in typical slasher movie fashion, they split up to cover more ground. I'm sure this is going to end well. Yeah, that's what I thought. Can't help but love this guy. He has a shotgun, but because he is a film student, he still brings his big-ass camera with him. Like, what the hell, man? You are hunting a deranged psycho killer. Drop the camera. To be fair, if this movie was made in 2024, he would probably be making a TikTok video out of it. So let's be thankful for that. Okay, sure, he's using his camera for the night vision, but still, it's going to hamper mobility and his aim with the shotgun. It's not even that dark down there. Well, that was your own fault. Well, hunting the killer is going really well, isn't it? And the ringleader of this little hunting party is starting to realise that maybe it wasn't such a good idea. The ocean will finish you. Ah, the smell of the sea breeze. The rain on my mask. I should have taken a cruise years ago. Did I leave the stove on? Meanwhile, Rennie is having another vision of Child Jason, who appears to be looking more and more like classic Child Jason each time. The mystery continues, but never mind that, Jason's attacking. Use the seashells, Rennie. Use the seashells. Oh, well, I would have preferred the seashells. Was she just showing him the pen before stabbing him with it or something? Look, Jason, I'm gonna write you a new prescription. What an eyesore, right? There goes depth perception. It's a good thing I already had my 3D movie. Sean finds Rennie and they collectively decide that being killed by Jason wouldn't be that pleasant. But Jason isn't their only problem at the moment. Water! Dangerous, dangerous water!
Water always wins, come on.
Hey, don't tell that to Jason. He's scared of water, remember? Stupid Freddy vs. Jason water-phobic bollocks. Okay, randomly slagging off other movies aside, don't worry, I still like you. You are too much fun not to love. They do seem to be facing some serious nautical issues. Especially now that the ship is not only sinking, but exploding as well. Thanks to, well, camera guy burning to death. Which means, Zoink, Scoob, we better get the hell out of here. Oh shit, lightning is zapping the ship as well? You guys are fudging doomed. Oh heavens, get to the life raft! While Jason just stares at you. This is going exactly as I have foreseen. Oh shit, he is still alive. God damn you, Ocean! I gave you a soul and you spit in my face. Not quite sure why I've decided to do a shite Emperor Palpatine impression for Jason, but let's go with it. They row their boat until I literally forgot she had a dog. That dog better survive. I care greatly about that pooch. Oh, thank the Lord. New York City! Safe and sound at last. Yeah, I should have seen that coming. Scared of water, isn't he, Freddy? Stupid. Oh my Christ, I'm famous! Call my agent. Get me on a late night talk show. Actually, that happened. It was pretty funny.
I'd like to thank you for coming by. It's a pleasure. Jason, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh no, our little band of survivors are being mugged, and Rennie is being kidnapped.
Can be smooth, can be rough.
Okay, cold-blooded murder is one thing, but this is going way too dark. Cut to the part where Jason kills him. My hero.
Who the fuck are you?
Oh really? Didn't you see the billboard? I'm famous, bitch. Okay, so they have a cat and mouse game in the most dull parts of New York City, which involves some sparring. Gotta love how Jason entertains this for a while before literally punching his head off. That's better than Dirty Harry's Magnum.
This is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and would blow your head clean off.
I love that even Jason looks shocked by his own strength. Then there's cars, more child Jason, and an explosion! Sadly taking the life of likeable but not very memorable teacher character. Followed by a revelation. When Rennie was younger, she used to visit her uncle during the summer at Crystal Lake, and in a tough love attempt to teach her how to swim, he threw her into the lake.
Better swim, Rennie, before Jason pulls you down.
I can't!
Yes, you can, and you will. Come on, Rennie, swim!
Wow. Initiate his death sequence.
Please! Please! I'm begging you! Please!
And now play it again.
Please!
One more time for good measure. No amount of replays of that clip is enough. You are a dick. After some brief smooching, the chase is back on. Door handles are for wimps. He chases them across the city, and we do finally get some cool shots of New York. Which brings us to my absolute favourite scene. I adore this bit. Jason is chasing them through Times Square and kicks a stereo over. He just lifts his mask and they're all, no, it's cool man, and just run away. It's just so funny.
You're a dead meat slime bag! Yo, man, it's cool, man, it's cool.
Friday the 13th started off so serious, and I love the original movies, but these later sequels definitely went sillier. But unlike A Nightmare on Elm Street, which went to the extremes of goofiness, Friday the 13th went just far enough. They still have brutal kills in each of the later sequels, but they have plenty of humour in them as well. Especially Jason Takes Manhattan. Okay, yes, it's not as good as parts 3 and 6, but I still can't help but love it. It's just a shame they didn't do more with being set in New York. I know the budget just wasn't there for it, but how cool would it have been seeing Jason chasing them and trying to kill them on the Statue of Liberty? or having Jason be defeated by sending him plummeting off the Empire State Building. Then you could have had the real villain of the movie, the person who brought him out of his natural habitat, standing over him and proclaiming it was beauty that killed the beast. When in actuality, Jason was caught by a massive flood of toxic waste where we see him turn into a child. But I'm guessing what really happened was Jason was just swept away with it all, but because Rennie was having visions of child Jason, we see child Jason. But that doesn't explain why Jason literally says, "Don't let me drown," as water pours out of his mouth. Weird. Just really weird. But there we go, another defeat for Jason. Keep it up, pal. I'm sure your day is coming. On the bright side, the dog lived, so happy ending. Yay! Those visions she kept having of child Jason, we need to talk about that. When her uncle was trying to teach her how to swim with tough sadistic love, we see child Jason seemingly dragging her down. Or so she believed. I think she was so mentally scarred by almost drowning that her mind fixated on all of the scary stories of Jason drowning when he was a child that of course her uncle told her all about. Why wouldn't he? What a bag of dicks. Man, he was just a piece of shit. It's so messed up. So she fixated on Jason, and as a coping mechanism, her mind invented a story that child Jason tried to pull her under when she was a kid. I suppose that was easier than dealing with the reality that someone that is supposed to love you would do such a horrible thing to you. Then real Jason starts knocking about, and she starts spending time with her uncle, and on the water, it all starts bubbling to the surface, until she finally remembers it all. It's not a bad story arc of recovery, betrayal, absolute dickbaggery, and neatly working in the mythos of Jason's original supposed death. She is a good lead character for a Friday the 13th movie, and definitely in the better half of the, as they call it, final girls. As for the other leading character, I liked the captain's son. He formed a good relationship with Rennie, and I am glad he made it out of the movie alive. Perhaps though they could have explored the relationship with his father more, and the fact that he was disappointed in him for not being the nautical expert that he was. But I sense they added that in there to give him a relatable trait to Rennie with her disapproving uncle. Aside from our leading characters, other than the uncle being a memorable bastard, everyone else was just serviceable. None of them stood out in any way and blended into the plethora of adequate up-the-body-count characters that the Friday the 13th franchise is littered with. The staples of the franchise, such as the inventive kill scenes, incredible costume design and amazing makeup effects, are still very much present here. And I do think that this movie benefits greatly from a change in environment, even if it wasn't in New York as much as I would have liked it to be. Seeing people die in a campground was getting a little bit old after 7 movies. Part 8 will always be a Friday the 13th movie that I go back to. It's way up there in the better half of the series for me. Even if it doesn't rank that high with other people, either because it fails to deliver on the promise of its name, or they just can't get behind the sillier nature of the movie, I totally get that. But it's just too much fun for me not to enjoy. Overall, I will give Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Wow, that's a mouthful. A 7 out of 10. It's a lot of fun, but needs more engaging characters and more Manhattan in it to go any higher. Also, Kane Hodder is still the best Jason. He did a disco dance on set after various scenes while fully dressed as Jason to boost people's morale during filming. That's just awesome. What a guy. You've been watching Good or Bad, and if you've enjoyed today's video, please go ahead and hit those like and subscribe buttons, and I will see you next time.
Ever think about doing a musical?